Friday, which means it's another episode of People Like You. My name is Emmanuel Osiseri, your online personal trainer and wellness coach, and today I met with a very special guest, Mr. Tyler Gilbert. So awesome to have two names. That's how cool this guy is. Me and Tyler have known each other. I think we've met before several times, and he is the husband of Bianca Gilbert. Last episode, and so go ahead and share a little bit of something about yourself, and let's get into it.
Like you said, I'm Tyler, 32 years old. I work at a refinery here in town, and we're into fitness.
Nice, obviously. All right, so take us back to your to the beginning of your fitness journey. Where did it start? What kind of got you going, and what kind of sparked that interest?
Probably got started playing sports all growing up,
Right.
baseball, football.
Right.
Started about in high school, probably, which was too late because my dad had been telling me since I was like in 6th grade, like, hey, it's time to start lifting if you want to be good at football and baseball. And I was always like, no, Dad, it's way cooler to skate with my friends and only go to practices, right?
Of course.
And then finally in high school something clicked, and I got into it and realized like, whoa, the human body's pretty awesome. It's pretty sweet that you can keep putting weight on lifts and get stronger and see it. So yeah, through high school I got into it, and then after high school I got into firefighting in high school. We had this special class that sent us off campus, and we got to actually go to a fire station, and that got me interested in firefighting. So I knew for sure, like, hey, I gotta be into fitness if I want to be into this. There's a lot of stress and strenuous work, so it just continued on through there.
Yeah, so. And you're not originally from Bakersfield, right?
No. From Seattle.
Okay, I was going to say Texas. Okay, Seattle.
Yeah.
All right, so you said you went through this firefighter academy, was that?
Yeah, so I got it was a class during high school, and then I got hired on a fire department in like this resident program.
Right.
So it was in Colorado right after high school, and I went there, and they put me through fire academy and paid for my college degree for firefighting, and then I worked for their department basically to pay off all that stuff. So.
Right. Because I have a couple of friends that went into fire to the academy as well for firefighters, and it's a lot of just like. It's a lot more physical than you would think as far as like the training and the preparation and everything like that.
Oh yeah, it was a pretty big eye-opener for me because I was like, going into it, I was like, I'm strong. This is gonna be no big deal. I've been working out every day for an hour and a half, whatever, lifting weights, and I get there and they're like, all right, we're running, and I was like, uh-oh.
That's a humbling. Was that towards the beginning of like your like when you started like first lifting and working out, or?
No, I was probably maybe 2 years in or something on lifting.
Okay, because I was gonna say that's a pretty humbling like realization. Like for me, when I first realized that muscle doesn't equal like endurance.
Right.
And so there's something called muscular endurance, something called cardio, the fuel that you put in and stuff.
Yep.
And so it's a huge change if you've only been lifting, and then all of a sudden you have to like start running and doing all these other functional stuff.
Right.
So where did CrossFit come into the equation? Take us kind of how you segue into that.
So CrossFit, me and a buddy were getting really into like powerlifting because we wanted something more than just going to the gym and lifting weights. So it was cool to like actually set goals for numbers you wanted to lift and everything. So we were getting big into that, and actually one of our biggest motivators, we found this guy named Rob Orlando on the YouTube days back in the day, and he was like an original CrossFitter, but it was originally a strongman. So we were like really into it because we were like, this dude's super strong and does these crazy like endurance workouts and he puts a ton of weight on everything. So me and him were like, all right, we're gonna start doing this kind of stuff, to kind of use the strength that we have for something, So we kind of got into it like that, and then we ended up taking a trip. This was in Phoenix when we were working out, and we took a trip to California to like the 2011 CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
And because Rob Orlando made it that year, so we went to watch him, and we got to meet him. It was awesome. And we were watching all the stuff they were doing. We were like, we could do this, like. And little did we know, like back then, everybody was just starting CrossFit, so everybody could do it. And like we're like, we could, and the progression of CrossFit took off. Like you know, if you weren't doing it like as a full-time thing, like we were just like, you know what, as long as our biceps and our chest look good and we can kind of do some CrossFit, we were like, we could probably do it. And then all of a sudden we got our butts kicked. So then it was kind of like, all right, we need to actually do the CrossFit.
Yeah, so to kind of feed off of that, what were the steps to take the next step? Because a lot of it is very mental. And I'm sure the first time you tried it out, it wasn't as easy as it looked, as you thought it would be. So kind of take us through like the gradual like evolution of how like you just kind of like had to progress. What are some of the lessons that you learned along the way?
Well, like the biggest lesson, and I think everybody will tell you this when they start CrossFit, is that you literally have to go in and you have to leave your ego at the door. You can't go in thinking like, oh, I'm going to be the best. Because you're going to get knocked on your butt every single time, right? Because we're strong, we can bench, you know, we can, all this stuff. And you go in there and like all of a sudden you get a barbell with 95 pounds on it and you're wrecked after doing a CrossFit workout with it. And you're like, this shouldn't be any big deal. But the intensity that you're doing it and everything, you're not doing a set of 5 and then resting for 5 minutes while you check your Instagram, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the progression was just like you kind of had to like take the weights back and focus more on there was a lot of technique and form because there were a lot of lifts that we'd never done before, like the Olympic lifts and all that stuff. So doing all that and switching squatting styles, right? Because we went from like a powerlifting low bar squat to like a high bar Olympic squat and front squatting, and so took mobility. It was a lot of things, but that was what was exciting about it. It gave us that spark because it was something new that like, all right, we're gonna try and get really good at this.
Right,
you know?
and I'm glad you brought up form as well too, because my exercise science background, I'm always looking at people's forms. I've never like really been impressed with somebody lifting heavy with improper form. And so, what are some of the things that you use to like make sure that your form is correct? Like, did you have a coach? Did you just like look at YouTube videos? Like, how did you know and get to the point where you're comfortable doing the right form?
I watched a ton of lifting videos. Like I got really into the Olympic lifting when I got there because it was something that was really cool. Because you go back and you watch these Olympic class Olympic lifters, and the amounts of weights that these guys can lift was just phenomenal, right? And you look at them too, and you're like, these guys are ripped, you know? Like they're not doing bodybuilding, they're just squatting and snatching and clean and jerking. So we're like, I would watch just video on video on video of all the best lifters and like try and mimic their form, you know what I mean? And I read a ton of books on different form stuff, and then when I finally like really got to the point where I was like, all right, this is serious, like I want to be good at this, then I went to an actual CrossFit gym, and the coach there, who's like, he was in my wedding, he was one of my groomsmen, one of my really good friends, Brian Kunitzer, he owns CrossFit Magna in Phoenix.
Okay.
And he helped me out a ton, so we got really into it. He actually coached Bianca through her second regionals and has been our coach, my coach since I started CrossFit, and Bianca's coach for probably 3 years or so.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So it seems like accountability, like your partnerships with your buddies and with your coaches have been really big for you as far as like where you've gotten today. So kind of walk our listeners through the importance of just having that just supportive community, just being around people who have the same interests as you to kind of help push you on.
Yeah. It's a huge factor, right? Because like when you go through lulls and stuff where you're like, this is hard, I don't really want to do it, but you have a buddy there that's like, we're doing this, you know? Or you have a coach that's like, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to be able to turn your brain off and just say, hey, we're doing it. Like, I don't really have a choice here, just gotta do it. So, I like it for that reason, like having the support around you of everybody that's like, hey, we all know this is gonna suck. We're all gonna do it together, so might as well have fun doing it.
Right.
So, and a workout's never as bad as you think it's gonna be. You finish and you're never like, I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You get that good.
You feel good. You may be beat up. You may be tired, but every time you're feeling like that was awesome. Like I did that.
And how long have you been doing CrossFit for now?
I don't know. Probably 8 years or so.
And so through these 8 years, or about 8 years or so, how do you keep yourself motivated? How do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it fun when you're doing your workouts and everything?
Well, I think that's the best part about CrossFit, right? Is like you repeat things sometimes, but a lot of times what you're doing is new. Like the workout you're doing, it might be similar movements, but you're doing them like in different rep schemes, or you're doing a different intensity workout, you're doing different weights. So it's like, it doesn't get stale really, because you always have some new challenge that you're trying to do. And there's always like, you go into a workout and you're like, oh, I have to do this many reps. I've never done that before, but I'm gonna make it my goal that I'm gonna try and do that many reps. So it's just always so fresh that like, it's really easy to stay excited for.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I think I like how practical CrossFit is. I think that, you know, when you're lifting something off, you know, I have warehouse workers that I work with at the plant, and so when they're lifting stuff, you know, developing that proper form, like you said, as well, kind of translates into your work and your regular activities, even if it's just yard work or other things like that. It's just, and it helps you along the, like, you know, like Bianca said last episode, like with her parents being able to, you know, do pull-ups at an older age and stuff. It kind of helps you like along the long run as well too. That's what I really like about it. So what are some benefits that you've seen, or what are some other benefits that you've seen in other areas of your life by just being consistent, not just with CrossFit, but just with like general exercise as a whole?
I mean, the biggest benefit is almost every job, well, I guess every job I've ever had has always been physical. You know what I mean? So I've roughnecked in North Dakota on a drilling rig for a long time, for 3 or 4 years, and like without my fitness, I wouldn't have made it up there. Everything's big, everything's heavy, you gotta be physical with everything, you know. So just like CrossFit is really just generally, and that's their saying is it's general physical preparedness, right? So it helps with everything, every aspect, work. We've been doing a lot of projects at the house. We've shoveled probably 12 yards of rock in the last 5 days. So like, I mean, it helps with that, you know, like you can tackle that project and say, you know what, I'm ready for this. Like, I've been training in the gym. Like, you don't have to worry about like, oh, I don't know if I can do it, I'm gonna be tired, whatever. You just know like, my body's ready for this.
Yeah, and you know, that's what it's about. Just I like, the reason why I like fitness so much is just like it's just applicable to just so many areas of life. Like, I mean, I know you've met great people at the gym along your fitness journey and stuff, and there's just this whole community of people that kind of like affect your life in a special way. I really like that. So let's talk about nutrition, as far as like how you prepare, how your fuel. And it's one of the things I like to ask CrossFitters and stuff, because you guys have to carb up and eat in a certain way. So what works for you? Where are you at? And kind of take us through that.
Well, what works for me is basically whatever works for my wife, Bianca, because that's what I eat, is whatever she decides that we're eating. So I'm usually pretty okay with it. Like, I can tell the difference when I'm not eating the way I should be. You know, you're definitely feeling a lot more sluggish, a lot less energy and all that. So we really try, like, we meal prep on Sundays for the whole week, and we try and get through that, and then we kind of have our rituals, I guess. Like, Saturdays, we know every Saturday we're getting pizza that night. You know what I mean? So like, it's the small little goals, you know, that you can be like, I'm gonna eat right all week long to allow myself that pizza on Saturday or whatever.
Right.
We like to do Chipotle on Wednesdays a lot too.
Nice.
So, you know, it's just we try and meal prep so that we know that we've been eating the right way, that we can get away with going and having that kind of a meal every once in a while.
For
you know?
sure, yeah, and I think that's really important too, as far as like rewarding yourself at the end of the week, and just like not being so strict to the point where you're not just enjoying other aspects of life, like eating. Like, I know that you guys came back from vacation and you guys ate very, very well.
Oh,
You enjoyed it and had no regrets.
Nope.
So just kind of finding that perfect balance, I think, is really important across the board, whether you're CrossFit or bodybuilder or whatever. Along everybody's fitness journey, there's always like turbulence, there's always like busier times than others where our workout schedules might change, our routine, especially if you're a habit person, they might get thrown off a little bit. So how do you deal with like when you reach one of these patches to where you have to, like, you're not as consistent as you want to be? How do you work around that?
Well, a big thing we try and do is when we get in a rut like that, we try and switch up what we're doing for our fitness. So B was a swimmer in college.
Right.
If we're not feeling like hitting the weights that day, you know, sometimes we'll throw around the idea like, hey, let's go to the pool and swim for an hour and a half, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we'll take the dog on a walk, or we'll decide to go on a hike or something, you know? Just kind of switch it up, get away from the normal routine, you know what I mean? Like, a workout doesn't always have to be in the gym lifting weights, you know? So that kind of helps us get out of the rut. We've been in a little bit of a rut lately just because coming back from vacation, trying to transition back, and we've had a lot of projects at the house that we've been trying to do. We've been redoing our front yard and doing our backyard. Nice. So like I said, we've been shoveling a lot of rocks. So, I mean, that was my workout for the last 5 days, was I was shoveling and moving rocks. So, yeah. I mean, you just kind of do it, and like, I know with talking with Bianca and how I feel, we've taken this time off and been doing these other things, but it's coming back, you know what I mean? Like, we're itching to get back and start. Yeah. It comes back to you, and you say, all right, I'm ready to get back after it again, you know? Yeah.
It's refreshing too, like, to just kind of take like some time off and just kind of like allow yourself to rewind, like, you know, decompress, and then get it going again. It starts to kind of get renewed and refreshed and stuff like that. And I like what you said as far as like some of the projects that you do around the house as well, and what you said as far as exercise doesn't have to be in the gym. You know, I try to get people in the mindset of like, no, your exercise, you know, can be parking in the farthest parking spot and walking to work, or, you know, it can be walking to the mailbox or around the block or walking your pets or whatever it is.
Right.
So I think that's such an awesome mindset to have. What are some fitness goals that you have, or are there any fitness goals?
Oh, there's always fitness goals, you know what I mean?
Where are you at right now with that?
Right now for me is probably just getting my strength levels back to where they used to be. We were training really hard for competition for a while, so heavy lifting wasn't really a part of it, and we were up in like the cardio kind of stuff.
Right.
So I've always been into lifting heavy. I don't like doing the CrossFit or the cardio side of CrossFit as much. So if there's ever an opportunity for me to skip a cardio piece and do a strength piece, I'm usually going to go that direction. But so for me, the getting some strength back in a few lifts that I've lost some strength in, and then probably just getting the diet back dialed in after vacation and all that is kind of short-term goals, you know.
It takes some time. I'm always amazed at like how you mix heavy lifting with cardio. Like, it just blows. Like me and my girlfriend, we watch like the YouTube, the CrossFit competitions on YouTube. And we don't know anybody's name. We just know who looks really strong. Well, everybody looks strong, really. Yeah. But I mean, you see like these women, these guys that are just lifting this heavy stuff, and then they're pulling, and I'm just like, wow, it's either or. Like, either you want to be strong or cardio, but they mix it both. I'm always just blown away.
Yeah. And that's what makes them the best, you know, is they're good at everything, and that's, I mean, and that's what CrossFit pushes too, you know, is that it prepares you to be ready to do anything, you know what I mean, which is great. And I mean, I'm a big advocate of it. I think anybody and everybody should be doing it. It's really the best program there is out there, I think, just for general physical fitness. So.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that too, like if you feel that it's something for everyone as
for
well.
Sure. I like anyone, literally, like people, older people, younger people. One of my big like things that I like is like high school athletes. I like to train high school athletes because I think CrossFit has a lot of really good things to bring into a young athlete's development. Right. So you know, because it's got strength, coordination, like cardio, all that stuff. Right. So and I know from personal experience how I was telling you that I didn't listen to my dad when he told me I should be doing all this stuff, that like from my experience I want to be like, hey, this is going to give you that extra push, because we all know how competitive sports is nowadays. So to have that little edge is just huge, you know.
Yeah, I'm really glad you touched on earlier just the aspect of proper lifting form. And I think it's just so important because, I mean, I've been lifting long enough, and I've seen a lot of people, even myself, along my journey. There's an ego with lifting, right? Especially I mean, especially if you're like a single male and stuff, you know. Just all this testosterone flowing, and you know, people are looking and stuff like that. But the problem with that is, I mean, as I'm sure you're aware of, is that there's there's a chance to injure yourself trying to lift heavier than you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I try to do, even with my videos for the site, is just making sure that I'm teaching proper posture, whether it's bodybuilding or CrossFitting, and just making sure people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, you can build yourself up gradually, lifting the right way. So perfect. All right, so towards the end of each episode, I'd like for our guests to leave something motivating, something inspiring for our listeners to take away. It could be a quote, it could be a saying that you have, anything that's helped you along your fitness journey that you'd like to leave with our listeners.
Oh man, and I had time to think about it too. Well, you know, it just takes that one step in the right direction, you know, and it's like a train, you know, they start out slow, but they build up momentum, and that's all it is, you know. You just have to take that first step and get the train rolling, and it becomes easier, you know.
Yeah, it really does, and just turning something into a system, something into a habit. I like that word, momentum. It's one of my favorite words, because it gets to the point where you're not really thinking about it anymore. You're just doing, you're just acting, and not really like reacting to how you feel and stuff like that. So, yeah, man. All right, here we go. It's time for some rapid, quick fire questions to see how Tyler's mind works. First thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Ready.
What's the first thing you think of when you wake up?
Usually breakfast.
That's fair. Would you rather be a master of every musical instrument or be fluent in every language?
After going to France and not understanding anyone, I wish I was fluent in every language.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
For sure. That would be awesome. Would you rather be a deep sea diver or an astronaut?
Astronaut for sure.
Astronaut. You said that quick. Why so?
It'd be awesome. It's the unknown, man. Into space.
It's dark out there, man. It's scary. But that would be cool, though. Just for a little bit. I don't know if I can do it like for more than a day. All right, would you rather take a guaranteed $100,000 or a 50-50 shot at $1 million?
Oh, guaranteed 100 for sure.
Me too. Buy something nice.
Oh, yeah.
Tacos or pizza?
Pizza.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Breakfast or dinner?
It depends on what's for each. Probably breakfast.
Probably breakfast. I'm a breakfast guy as well. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Netflix. Money or free time?
That's a hard one, too. Free time, man.
Free time.
Yeah.
Most people say free time. Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Winter or summer?
Winter.
What did Tyler want to be as a kid growing up?
Baseball player.
Baseball player. Who's your baseball team?
I don't really watch anymore because I played so much when I was younger that I kind of just lost interest afterwards, but my team was always the Mariners.
Yeah, do you have a favorite player right now?
No.
Nah, alright. One famous person, dead or alive, you'd love to have dinner with?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yes.
Dead or alive? I don't know, I think I'd like to have dinner with Marshawn Lynch.
Really?
Yeah.
Why Marshawn Lynch?
I don't know. I think I think he'd be interesting to talk to.
Yeah,
man.
dude, that would be an interesting dinner. That would be actually fun. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
At least to fans, I don't know.
Not to the media, which I think is why it would be so awesome.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. A dinner with Marshawn Lynch with no cameras around would be fun.
Yes, definitely.
Last question: if you can be any animal in the world, what would it be and why?
Probably a Bengal tiger.
A Bengal tiger. Oh, the tiger.
Yeah.
Okay. Why a tiger? Bengal.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen, like, we watch a lot of the nature shows,
Yeah,
and
we
like,
do.
and watching them stalk around, just seeing all the muscle, and they're just written, and they just destroy animals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just a packed ball of power.
So are they bigger than regular tigers, or?
I don't know. I think they're all the same.
Okay. Because I know Bengals just from the football team.
Yeah.
So I was like, Bengals, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm a lion guy myself, so kudos to that.
There you go.
You've been in the cat family, but hey, I appreciate your time.
No,
Thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
Yeah.
Anybody that was thinking of doing CrossFit or been intrigued, I'm sure they'll get a lot of things to take away from this, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, no
and
problem.
I wish you nothing but the best in your journey.
Thanks, man.
All right.